technically left work, but like I left work and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go home, I'm gonna shower, and I'm gonna like
shirt though.
have some food ready, and I'm gonna eat food. That's pretty sick. I'm gonna have some food, and then like I'm gonna be clean and fed, ready for JZN. I'm gonna be on Discord and ready, and then I was asleep on my couch.
Yeah, I fell asleep during my morning lecture. Well, I didn't fall asleep, but I was definitely dozing off during it because I decided to lay on the couch because online lectures are wonderful, and yeah.
And like,
I'm recording too. Just
oh, we are okay.
I wouldn't hold any swears against you until you know. So now you know. Aha. Not that it matters. I don't think it matters. I think we have a pretty mature audience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Joe, I'm digging the stash.
Thanks. I gotta.
You can't
trim it.
You kind of look like do you know who Jay Schlatt is?
No.
You kind of look like him with your mustache, which is not an insult. So he's a decent looking dude.
So now my problem is. Now my problem is I want to have food, but I can't make it while I'm here, and I desperately do not want to DoorDash or deliver anything.
What do you want to make?
But it's going to be the only. I have no idea. I want to make some pasta or something because that's kind of like all I have.
I mean, if you want to go throw that on,
no,
we can just sit here and shoot a little bit.
No, I don't want to hold you guys forever.
I mean, you're not. You can go do that. I can stop the recording and then restart the recording after you get the water on, and then
I'm gonna feel bad.
Okay, that's fine.
I'm gonna feel really bad, so I'm just gonna say screw it and order food because Damn it.
You don't have a mouse in your kitchen, do you? I have a mouse in my kitchen.
I don't. You still do?
Yeah, I went home looking for a car this weekend, and I put like some actual traps because when the exterminator came for the apartment complex, he just put like down those crappy glue traps. Yeah. And it's a small mouse, right? I think it's it's like an adolescent mouse, so it's a small guy. It's not gonna go in there. It's not stupid. Apparently it's not really stupid because I put down some like plastic. They look like they're 3D printed, but they're traps to the mouse, and he did not take the bait.
No.
So, but I haven't seen him or heard him.
I remember you told the story on the last podcast that,
and that was 2
weeks
ago.
Squished him. Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I did think I squished him like behind the stove, but no, I did not.
Wow. That's intense, man.
He's still kicking. He's not pooping all over my counters anymore, though. So that's an upgrade.
It's very resilient.
That's an upgrade. I took you take the steel wool and you like plug up any holes, and I did that, and haven't had as many problems. But like last week, he was in the cupboard off the kitchen, or like in the dining room area. And I had like all of Bristol's old food bags in there, and he was rustling around in them because it scared the crap out of me. Dude, it was fun times. But I don't know.
I don't think anything exciting happened for me.
Yeah, I haven't done anything exciting since the last podcast.
Yeah.
Well, I did one thing, but we'll talk about that.
You guys, well, real quick before we. You got not that we're gonna do anything for it, but go check out Disqualified. Hosted by that guy right down there below me.
That's me.
You guys did a fantastic job. I love the format. Folks at home, I have a really bad habit of being controlling on things. So to get better at that, I was like, here you go. Whatever you want. Here's a whole channel, and that's what this is JTN2. It's for guys to do whatever they want. Matt absolutely killed it. Brought Davey and Tommy in.
That's right.
Threw some personality in there. Spiced it up instead of just reading monotone off a script like some other people would try to do with that type of format or subject matter. So I thought it was really good. Really good. I know, it's a podcast is what I think people would say, but I thought it was good. I appreciate it. Also, Bristol appreciate all the views. Go check it out if you haven't already. Disqualified episode 1. Coloni Scuderia, is that Did I get that right?
Other way around, Scuderia
Cologne,
Cologne, yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Scuderia is like an Italian term for like racing team, so it could be if you were to either way, really, it doesn't matter. So
if you were to like Americanify it, it'd be whatever.
Like it'd be like Coloni Racing or whatever. No, it was really fun. I can't wait to do the next episode. I try to listen to every show that I do just so I can, see if you're gonna make content, it should be something that you like. That's why I don't stream, is because I don't watch streamers because I'm not interested in it. Even though I think it would be fun. But I was like, I listened to that episode, not to honk my own horn or anything, but I was like, man, that's really good. I kind of want to listen to it again now. I was like, I'm mad we've only made one of these. So, yeah.
I think it's going to be a popular series.
Especially once F1 season starts back up.
Yeah. I was very happy, and it really meant a lot that a lot of people really enjoyed it. And I was like, oh, thank you.
With no prior warning that it was going to be up, too. I think that was the good thing.
I had been teasing it in our Discord, and that's it.
It actually got 50 upvotes on Reddit as well. Just under 50, but...
Oh, wait, you posted it on Reddit?
Yeah.
Okay.
He specifically said you were going to hate that. So
it's not that I hate it. It's just I was trying to figure out all week how you got all the traffic to the video, and that makes so much more sense. So, Davey, Matthew, I called you Matthew this time because I'm getting better. Anyways, you guys need to post these links. I think that's the key to success here.
We do too. I think maybe you could too, but I mean we can.
Yeah.
Let me just heap another thing on my plate. Oh wait, I dropped it because it's so heavy. Anyways,
well, just get stronger. Duh, stupid.
Hit the gym.
Of course.
Hit the gym.
Make gains, bro.
It's always my fault.
The gym, nerd.
Always my fault. Anyways, this is Fake Racers Podcast, episode 2, season 2.
Why?
We're gonna start probably being weekly now. We're just having fun right now. It's preseason still for what we mainly talk about here, which is NASCAR and throw some IndyCar. We'll throw in some Rolex 24 stuff this week. But I'm Joe.
I'm Matthew.
I'm Davey Hazard. My mic was muted,
Again.
so I was hoping we would see this. I was adjusting it.
Also, preemptive apology to any knocking you hear in the background. My roommate's working on one of his guns, so if it sounds like somebody's knocking on my door, that's what it is.
One of his guns? Oh, you mean like the fucking...
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The gun show.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just one of them.
Just the one.
Just one.
Just the one.
We all know a thing or two about that, I'm sure.
Got to get caught up with one arm somehow.
Anyway. Real Rolex 24 is this weekend, but Mr. Matthew Steelman, I think we're joined by a Rolex Iracing 24 champion.
We are.
Yeah, my watch is in the mail, boys.
Yeah.
This sounds really
Can
bad
you
when
rattle
I
off
say
the
it.
team
But...
name real quick?
Okay. I can read off the team name. It is the United States Online Racing League, Racing League's Primetime Racing, featured by. Hold on, let me just find the document and we can.
Just so you know, Bristol just sighed in the background.
Here, it's on the Bad USRL Stats Twitter page. If you want me to read that off for you.
No, he has to read it.
I got it right here. United States Online Racing League Primetime Racing Team with Time Bordeaux Racing, featuring NCM Racing, powered by Apex Motorsports, supported by JD2 Motorsports. And we went out, our team of people. I mentioned them on the last podcast, and we friggin' won the Rolex. We friggin' did it.
So awesome.
It was a blast. I had so much fun. I streamed for 25 straight hours. It was awesome. But like my computer is gonna get turned off at some point. It's gonna be very happy with that.
You still haven't turned it off?
I think well, you got to remember, we won the race. I got drunk, and then I woke up the next day and didn't realize that I didn't turn it off, and then I just didn't touch my computer enough until like later yesterday. And then I still forgot to turn it off, so I have to turn it off.
Yeah.
But oh, dude, it was a blast.
I mean,
everyone put in a shift. Go ahead, Joe.
I was gonna say, you were a couple times I was able to tune in. You were throwing down some monster lap times too.
Yeah,
towards the end of your stint.
I was really unhappy with my first stint, my first driver stint, because I spun it twice, and the first time I spun it, I binned the car pretty bad. No like serious damage, a lot of bodywork stuff, and I was like, nah, I'm not having that happen again. And so my next stint after that, I had one little incident that wasn't really my fault. And other than that, I was clicking off some of it was pretty funny. I was clicking off some of the fastest lap times that car ran over the course of the race. And that was really, really satisfying. And then my next stint was right before Tommy's. Noah Joyce gave up his final stint to put me back in the car one more time. And that was just a solid like not lead building, because the lead was already built at that point, but it was just a solid rock solid stint. Didn't lose any time at all, if anything gained any, and kept the car clean. Didn't get any incidents, no off tracks, no like nothing. It was just a perfect stint, exactly what you need when you're like so many laps ahead. And Tommy brought it home, and it was a fun race, and a fun celebration that got a little out of hand. But I mean, everyone there was of correct age, so it's, while it got out of hand, like we were all okay with it.
Mm-hmm.
I'll leave the details of that story alone. But
I wasn't even gonna mention it. So.
It was we got wild, and it was fun.
The highlight of the race had to be the lap that you did with your commentary. That was a work of art.
We need to get that up.
I was cackling.
Yeah. For anyone who wants to go check it out, warning profanity, but I thought it was quite fun.
There's a reason why it wasn't streamed here on JTN too.
Yeah. I mean, maybe there could be a, I don't know how we're gonna get that on JTN, but I think it needs to go on JTN, because apparently it was pretty good.
It was pretty good. You got to download it from Twitch, and then you can just upload it. I don't care. I want the fans to be able to see it.
Somebody tweeted it. I know that
Jack did.
Yeah. I mean the whole race though. Whole race up.
Yeah, I do have to share. I should. Yeah.
You got to download it.
Yeah, it's gonna be a big file.
Hey, you got all that computer? Just leave it on all day tomorrow.
Guess what? You thought it was break time.
I think one of the things that doesn't get talked about enough with endurance racing is like the comfort for the drivers, right? You're throwing 3, 4, 5 drivers in the same seat in the car. Everyone's got different setups and whatnot. And I know there's ways to combat that teams can take and methods, but what is the challenge with it? It's an iRacing event, so everyone's in their own setting, everyone's comfortable in their own chair and whatnot. Is there that challenge? Obviously, isn't there? But what do you think the biggest challenge was? Because throughout the week, it seemed like there was a lot of disagreement on setup and all that.
Yeah, a little bit. I spent a lot of time working on the setup initially, and this was like probably a month or so or a few weeks before the race, and so the setup kind of sat. And then in the couple weeks leading up to the race, like more and more people started testing it, and it was more like, okay, I don't agree with this setup, or this setup is okay, but it needs this. And so there was a lot of back and forth on setup, and then we were lucky enough to come across a very good setup. But the setup, while it was very good, it wasn't comfortable for 2 of our drivers who were on controller. So there was even more fine-tuning to do there. What we ended up doing was we took the suspension settings and shock settings from the setup that is quote-unquote really good, and we took the aero and driver aid and the driver feel settings from our setup. We kind of put them together, and that setup wasn't amazing at first, but I just kind of very frustratingly decided to continue with that setup anyway. And so all I did was make the shocks more forgiving on that setup, and that was our race setup that we ended up using, and it was great. Some of the damage on the car affected it a little bit, and I think honestly some of the adjustments that we could have made even before the damage, and it would have helped. Like, for example, our brake bias was 2 or 3% too low the whole race, but it was really exaggerated by some of the damage that we had, and so we ended up having to do it, and it made the car super stable going into turn 1 or down into the bus stop or whatever situation it was where we would have to brake really quickly. But that was the main thing, was trying to make sure that the controller guys were comfortable, trying to get the guys on the wheel to be consistent enough. Unfortunately, we had a little moment where we had to find a relief driver because someone's controller stopped working. But like the people that were on a wheel that were practicing with the setup, Darren, Steven, Tommy, and I, we were all very comfortable, and we actually were all throwing down like really good laps and running really good stints as a whole. And Noah held it down, but again, he's on controller. There's only really so much you can do on a controller, but he did a great job. I went back and watched some of his stint because I was asleep during it. I went back and watched it, and unfortunately, Antonio had an incident, but he also was like the best race engineer, manager, whatever it is, ever. And so he kind of was the reason everything was together. He was the reason we had stints. He was the reason like we figured stuff out. He was always on the ball with it. And so everyone played their part, including our relief driver, which was Antonio Jr. I don't know. I don't want to say it and get like banned from Iracing, but we needed a relief driver, so we did what we had to do.
Mhm.
And yeah, everyone did their part. That was the big thing. Like it was a struggle because of some of those things, but it just meant that everyone did their part.
Mhm.
It was awesome. It really like felt like race. I felt like what racing is supposed to be, because I mean we were a team. Everyone did their part. We did not give up. Everyone came in and you know they contributed to the grand picture, and we ended up being rewarded for it. And it was an absolute blast. I cannot wait to do this again. I don't know which one I want to do next. I hope that some of the boys want to do Sebring, because I would like that. And
Might have to do a second car for the team next
we
time.
might have to do a second car for the team next time. That's what I'm saying. But yeah, I just can't get over. I can't get over how much fun that was. We all want to buy. Originally I wanted to buy a fake Rolex, until I found out that those were also still $150, and I want to buy a knockoff brand Rolex. We found one that's like $70.
I was thinking about finding like the 6 cheapest watches I could find, like $5 out of a vending machine, and giving them to all you guys when we meet up in Charlotte again.
I was debating on getting you guys Hello Kitty watches.
Oh, that would be pretty good.
I think for me personally, I like watches, so I want to watch that I'm gonna wear. So I don't mind dropping a cool like $70 on a watch that looks good, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I might end up doing that. Some of the boys want to do it. Tommy wants to do it. Noah wants to do it. And obviously, like, I'm not gonna make anyone pay $70, but it'd be really cool if everyone got the same watch, because it looks a lot like it's meant to replicate the Daytona Rolex Cosmograph watch from Rolex. It is very cool. But yeah.
Well,
that was me. Hope you tuned in. It was great. It was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun to watch in the bits and pieces, and if you want to watch the replay like right now, you should be able to head over to Davey's Twitch, D7H5 at the end. We also linked it in on our Twitter, or at Johto Network Twitter, so you can check it out there too. We got his Twitch linked, and it'll also be in the video description if you're watching us on YouTube. So there's a lot of ways that you can access that, of course. We'll try to get it uploaded on JTN too if we can. It all depends on Davey's computer not deciding to quit on him, although it sounds like that might be a real possibility here in the next 24 hours. Speaking of 24 hours...
Hey, hold on real quick. I will say
that was
a really good segue.
Yeah, whatever.
Anyways,
she's doing great. She held her own. She didn't get above like 53 degrees Celsius.
You gotta give her that Windows upgrade. Get her a new window.
No. Go ahead. Speaking of 24 hours.
This weekend, of course, is the Rolex 24. The Roar before the 24 was this past weekend. Qualifying races, however you feel about that. I think we discussed that last year. I don't really want to retread how that's kind of weird. But I think the Rolex 24 for a lot of folks that maybe aren't into sports car racing, that's not really what they watch, even though they claim to be racing fans. Still are a racing fan. That was an unneeded shot.
Yeah, that was a little gatekeepy of you.
Listen. If some of these guys
Yikes.
can gatekeep and keep their 900,000 subscribers,
900,000.
Yep.
Numbers.
They don't exist and they're made up. Anyways, Rolex 24 this weekend. We, of course, I think everyone's going to be watching, but of course, everyone's also going to be tuning in at 10:45 p.m. Eastern Time Saturday night for the USORL AlphaTauri Cup Series from Homestead.
Correct.
But after you
I'm
watch
ready
that,
to be terrible.
after you watch that, you'll tune it back into the Rolex 24. Shaping up to be a really good field. The bit that I was watching of the Roar, they were talking about Jimmy Johnson, and this is really what I wanted to get into. But his time from last year to this year has improved by, I think they were saying by about a second. It still, I think he still is about half a second off pole, or maybe a second. Maybe it was a second off a pole, but gained half a second. That's still impressive, right? But I don't know. Jimmy Johnson getting good at road course racing. Never thought I'd see the day.
Yeah. He was good at it. He's good at it at the end of his Cup career.
Yeah.
I think that was more so out of necessity, though. That's not Jimmy Johnson.
I was in
thing.
person
That's
for his
thing.
one road course win. So
the Hendrick thing, not
I was
Jimmy
there.
Johnson.
God.
Okay.
Thanks, Mark Sambrose. I don't know. Did you guys want to say anything about the Rolex 24, or was this kind of unnecessary for me to put in this script?
No, it wasn't unnecessnecessary.
Yeah, I'm out of the loop, unfortunately.
Okay.
I'm not out of the loop. I watched the Roar. I know that Wayne Taylor Racing's on pole, which is pretty good. Oh shit! Hold on. The script closed. It's not a diecast. You said it wasn't, so it's not. The script closed. I had to reopen it. But yeah, Wayne Taylor Racing on pole. Did any of you guys watch the Roar?
I watched a little bit of it.
Unfortunately,
football was on.
It was actually really a little bit of. There was actually a little bit of argy bargy on the last lap as well.
Oh,
it actually got a little spicy. I honestly, I'm a stupid idiot and I already forget which team it was, but going down, it's turn 1 on the white flag lap. The second place prototype's trying to stick it in there, and just no room, spins out. It was close. It was. Okay, no one else cares. That's fun.
No, I care.
I care. I just didn't see it.
It was a lot of fun.
That's good.
I know they were together last season, but the fact that Jimmy Johnson and Kamui Kobayashi are sharing a car makes me so excited. Oh my god.
That's really cool. I love all of Jimmy's really been Jimmy when he does the 24 hours of Daytona, for some reason his social media game is on point. And all the Instagram stories that he has of him and his co-drivers hanging out or whatever, they're always really good for some reason. He's being such a guy's guy with all the boys, it's cool.
Oh yeah. Yeah, the fact that he, Pagano, and Kobayashi shared a car last year, I was like, that is my dream driver lineup.
Yeah, it looks like they'll have a lot of it looks like a good lineup too. There's a reason it's the same, obviously, but it looks like it's a fun lineup to be in.
Oh yeah,
because Kamui is insane, and Jimmy's old insane. He used to be insane because he used to do stupid stuff all the time.
He still is.
I agree with you. I mean, yeah.
Just a little safer.
Just a little safer. But yeah, it's pretty cool. I don't think. I mean, the thing about the Rolex 24 is every year we everyone looks forward to it, and so it's hard to say the same stuff every single year,
right?
About how much we love that it starts the season off and blah blah blah. I feel like I say that every single year, but for what it's worth, I'm so excited. I love that it starts my season off. Chili Bowl, blah blah. I get it, but I count Chili Bowl as last year. Rolex 24 is this year.
Honestly, I'm gonna make some people sad.
Ooh, I already know where this is
Chili
going.
Bowl is fun to watch. It's exciting, but the hoopla behind it, I get it, warranted, but also I'm saying something controversial.
Yeah, we're gonna have somebody in the thumbnail. So
there it is, right there. Anyways,
Joe thinks the Chili Bowl's overrated.
Yeah, actually, it's fun to watch. It's a really good race. It's a great atmosphere and all that, but the amount of the amount of hoopla over it, I don't see it. Again, not big dirt guy background. I understand it, right? I understand why, and it's an event that's been going on for 37 years now. So,
yeah,
I don't know. There's other dirt events that I think are better or important. You think of all the races at Eldora, you think about, and then
Knoxville Nationals.
Yeah, and it's just I think a lot of it is because this event is kind of it is the first of the year, right? It's the first major one of the year, and It's it's just got that. Oh, it kicks off the season. Little. Anyways, I didn't. Chili Bowl's good. Don't get me wrong.
Well, here, before we change topics, I will just throw my hat into the ring. I have no strong feelings about the Chili Bowl either way. All right.
What? I'm just kidding.
Just split the middle. All right.
Yeah, I have to agree with that. I still, in my opinion, think that the Rolex 24 like kicks off the racing season because it's in Daytona. And yeah, I know the Clash isn't in Daytona anymore. Blah blah, whatever. Shut up. Doesn't matter.
It's not about it being in Daytona that I think kicks it off. It's about it being like the first major marquee event, not only for drivers but also for manufacturers and OEMs and I mean just people in the industry, right? You think about all the money that General Motors, Ford, Acura, all these
Porsche,
right?
Oh my god.
Mazda for all BMW, you keep
You're really grasping for these manufacturers, and I appreciate
BMW,
it. And I respect
Mercedes,
literal tens of manufacturers.
But
but I know what you mean.
The point being that there's a lot of weight put into these endurance races now more than ever, when a lot of other forms of racing don't really have the innovation that they used to have to stay relevant to being entertainment for people. For sports car racing, I still think has to innovate to be relevant. So, it's that. It's fun. Everyone cares about it. It's Chili Bowl. Everyone runs TRD stuff, right? I mean, it's that type of thing. I think that people don't put enough emphasis on the importance for a manufacturer, for a team, and then also the driver prestige behind winning an event. Same thing with the Indy 500. Same thing with not as much Daytona 500 in terms of manufacturer, maybe, but definitely still an important thing. Indy 500 is still the best race of all time. Ring Ring Progresso. I don't. I'm just gonna keep going on my thing.
Yeah,
he should be okay.
Yeah,
Davey's gonna step away for a second. He's got important things to go talk about. My Davey.
Audio listeners wouldn't have even noticed you left if you didn't say anything.
Yeah, but I gotta always call you guys out when you do something wrong.
Yeah, true.
Tony Stewart's gonna be in the booth for the Clash and the Daytona 500.
It's going to be super fun. Unfortunately, I might miss his Cup debut because I might actually be at the Clash. So
that's okay. Now, if you're at the Clash, I want you filming everything. I'm gonna give you the JTN TikTok info.
Oh God.
Honestly, a good idea.
Filming things. Oh.
Why do you hate filming things?
All you have to do
I'm
is
too
take
introverted.
videos of the
I feel
cars.
too
You
weird
just
filming people.
Yeah, but you don't have to film yourself.
Ooh, cargo vroom vroom. That's all you got.
Well, so this is the thing. So maybe I'll talk about this later. But I went to Supercross in Oakland last weekend, and my mom was like, "You didn't take any pictures or videos," and I was like, "No, because I was watching the race. I wasn't playing with my phone the entire time." I don't know. I'm just weird like that. Like I'm the like when I was saying earlier how it's like. I only want to make stuff that I myself enjoy. There's nothing worse than when somebody's like, dude, check out this concert footage on my phone. I don't want to watch that. I don't want to be that person who does that. So
yeah, but the clicks.
Not true. Yeah. I need to sell my soul for SEO.
I'm putting my pretty much. I'm putting my little business, my JTN hat on. Imagine this says JTN.
It'll be weird if I'm doing that with my dad around too, if he ends up going. So
nah.
So he'll be like, "Yo, what up, JTN?" And my dad's just gonna be like, "What the hell are you talking about?"
Have your dad do that.
Actually, my dad would be really good at that. Now that I think about it,
please, that's your challenge. We'll remind you next week. But Davey, we're talking about Tony Stewart in the booth.
Yes.
For the first two races of the year. I think we're probably all in agreement that's gonna be fun.
I can't wait.
It is gonna be fun.
Tony's gonna bring the fire.
So
I think here's where my problem is. I am kind of sick of having two drivers in the booth yelling over each other.
Mm-hmm.
Same.
I'm sick of it.
Agreed.
And Larry Mack doesn't want to be at the racetrack. I haven't seen anything that's proved that is true. But I want just bring Larry Mack back into the booth.
Larry Mack actually tweeted at somebody and said that's just not true. He said he misses being at the track. So
just bothersome. Bring Larry Mack back.
Right. Dude. I think Tony Stewart brings you that name right? You'll be able to bring in maybe some dirt people that don't normally watch, kind of out of you'll be able to bring in just people. Oh, it's Tony Stewart, right? There's a lot of people from 2000s that maybe don't watch NASCAR anymore because it isn't popular, but they know who Tony Stewart is. Maybe not for just the stuff in the 2000s, but yeah, I think Tony though is a good pick in this role because the times he's done TV, he's been level-headed. I think the problem that Fox had with Jeff Gordon and Clint Boyer and Jeff Gordon and Darrell Waltrip was both were trying to be that loud personality.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Tony's going to be in a position where he's going to have to do that, especially because he's not full-time in that role. All the people, oh, it's going to be crazy up in the booth. Fox is going to do their campy stuff like they normally do, and that's fine. But I think Tony will be able to give really good analysis. I mean, just think about back to SRX when they were talking to him while he was racing for the win. That type of stuff. I think he's been really good with technical stuff, and I think that's what you need out of your third person or when you're in like the Mike Joy or in the Rick Allen role. You don't want to have to explain all the technical stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you have that other person there to explain the driver mentality, to explain some of the technical stuff, so you're not constantly talking, and so you're having a conversation while you're watching the race. I think if it's only Clint Boyer up there and Mike Joy, two-man doesn't work the greatest at times, especially with Clint Boyer still being relatively green on doing the commentary, even though he did a pretty good job by the end of last year. I think Tony's a great pick. Again, it's that name brand. Everyone was really excited for it.
Yeah, I think one of Jeff Gordon's problems is like he's very smart and he knows what he's talking about, but it takes you back to early in Jeff's career where everybody always talked about how soft-spoken and kind of quiet he is. He's not super charismatic when he talks. So when it was just him and Mike Joy, it felt like something was lacking.
Mm-hmm.
But then you brought in Clint Boyer, and then it was just weird because you have two drivers. Yeah, we need an engineer or a crew chief back in the booth.
And it wasn't necessarily that you had two drivers. You had Jeff Gordon trying to be like not himself.
Yeah.
Like Jeff Gordon, when it was him, DW, and Mike Joy, was so awkward.
Yeah,
and you at least came to expect that. And then when it was just him and Mike Joy, like you said, soft-spoken, was just kind of there.
Yeah.
And then last year, it felt like a little too much because I think he kind of heard that criticism and overcorrected maybe for it.
Yeah.
And I think, like you said, soft-spoken, maybe a little more reserved when it comes to being in front of a camera. Probably in a good position now, being... what is he? Whatever he is at Hendrick, second in command to Rick Hendrick.
Yeah.
So, we've talked about that and stuff, but yeah, again, what do we think about rotating that third man though?
I'm alright.
So long as we get the right people in, I'm okay with it.
Yeah. Like I'd like Larry Mack to be the third guy full time, but. Hopefully it's not just a pipe dream at this point. But I mean, if they get the right guys in there, then absolutely I'm down for it. So, because I think, did they do that with Xfinity this year?
They've been doing that with Xfinity. They've been rotating the other two.
Yeah. Because like when they had Suarez in the booth for Phoenix, I loved that. He was super cool. So if you get the right guys, I think it can work.
Yeah, I would like to see Michael Waltrip get a shot on a cup race. I'd really like to see, because I think he's... I know everyone likes to make fun of him for being goofy Michael Waltrip, but I think when you have him up there during some of these truck races and you actually let him talk about the technical stuff, dude knows a lot more than what I think people give him credit for. You don't forget he's also a former team owner.
Yeah.
Jamie McMurray will probably be up there. I think Larry Mack will be up there. Chad Canals will probably be up there at some point or another too. So I think you'll get that technical side. I think those technical guys will be more important maybe once we go to some of these intermediate tracks. Again, I think for the 500, for the Clash, for these, 500 isn't an exhibition, but in a lot of ways it is, right? We treat it as separate from the season. Your season, you have a successful year if you win the Daytona 500 and you finish 36th every other race. My opinion.
Yeah.
My opinion. So I don't know. I like the idea of rotating. You're going to lose building chemistry though, which is something you will be able to tell from week to week.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I think you hit it on the head.
Yeah, I think it'd be better. Like obviously having some of those guys are going to be pretty cool. Like I think Tony Stewart is like a really neat grab. I think like having Chad Knaus is a neat grab for like a couple races. But like at the end of the day, I would rather have someone in there for the full season. So
agreed. I'd rather have the same person with me every time I broadcast, but you know, here I am. I make it work. Why can't Fox?
Ooh, dang, that's a call out. JTN to broadcast the Cup Series? Question mark.
We're actually gonna be the exclusive home for Daytona 500 qualifying.
I'll be back.
Yep.
Oh my god.
So yeah, I mean, is there anyone else outside Larry Mack, those guys I named, that you can think of? James Hinchcliffe is like kind of an off the wall guy because he did so well in those SRX races, and I hope he's calling more IndyCar this year for NBC. That'd be cool to see him get back into that.
I just miss Alan Bestwick.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I still think Mike Joy's the best, though.
Oh yeah,
James.
No, a shot against Mike Joy, but I love Alan Bestwick.
James Hinchcliffe actually has like the voice for it too, which a lot of people don't have. But he has 100% the voice of a commentator.
Mm-hmm.
He would do well in that role.
That's one of the things. Yeah, is he's super charismatic. So like he fits perfectly for a TV role.
Yeah,
but also already knows where the boundaries are, so you don't have to kind of rein him in and put blinders on him like you do with Clint Boyer or Dale Jr.
Yeah. James Hinchcliffe like brand of personality. Like while it's like funny, it's like it's like a safe funny. You know, so he would do like really like personality wise, like you said, he's very charismatic. Like it's a really good fit that I didn't think about, but I feel like he would work in the cup in like any
he
series
could
that he goes to. Like he's a fast learner, like he'll be fine.
Yeah,
but
I
think NASCAR fan base wouldn't like IndyCar guy.
Yeah, I mean they already freaked out when Leigh Diffey did one race, and they were like, "Who's this British guy?" And it's like he's Australian.
I think people would be more receptive to James Hinchcliffe than you think, because I think James Hinchcliffe is like Leigh Diffey's a household name now, but James Hinchcliffe like has I think a lot of NASCAR fans are familiar with James Hinchcliffe because of the guy who he is. I think people would be behind it.
Also, look for these folks that are going to be in this Fox booth, possibly being as an audition for if there are new providers or broadcast partners in the future. Like a lot of people are trying to indicate that there will be, especially with NBC shutting down NBC Sports. And if NASCAR is insistent on not allowing races to stream on Peacock. Anyways, because if they don't let them on Peacock, they're not going to let them on another streaming platform. So it's going to, cable and ESPN is your other option, CBS, Fox. Anyways, NASCAR also, speaking of the sanctioning body that always seems to find a way to put themselves in a kerfuffle, new penalty structure was announced today, mainly concerning, the next-gen parts, the common parts that everyone has to buy from these suppliers. L1 infractions can involve a points loss, a max fine of $100,000, and a max suspension of 3 races for a crew member. L2 infractions, $100,000 to $250,000, 75 to 120 points, and then a 4 to 6 race suspension. And then, of course, L3 infractions, the new added caveat being a possibility to be barred from the playoffs.
That is extreme. That's a big boy. That's a big boy penalty.
Who's going to be the first to be barred from the playoffs this year?
One of the Rick Ware cars, probably.
Yeah. I was going to say, if Michael Waltrip was still in the Cup Series, absolutely his team. So,
do we like it? Not like it? I mean,
did they release what infractions would fall under these? Because this happened while I was at work. I missed it.
It should still be on the front page of J-Ski.
Yeah,
I don't think I need to shout out J-Ski. I think everyone knows what J-Ski is.
What's J-Ski?
Yeah, the small, underground website nobody's ever heard of. Yeah.
All right, let's see this.
Stiffens up penalties.
Pretty much, though, the whole reason behind all this is to make sure that teams aren't manipulating these parts coming from the vendors. They're not making their own parts and trying to pass them off as common vendor parts.
Right.
Oh, okay, yeah. So L3 penalties, which are the very... Oh, wait.
Those are the ones you don't want.
Yeah, those are the bad boy ones. Counterfeiting or modifying next-gen single-source vendor-supplied parts. Engine infractions such as cubic inch displacement, compression ratio, long block assembly, and or internal parts not meeting the rules. Performance enhancements, e.g. nitrous oxide vacuum leaks.
Jesus.
ECU EFI parts.
Yeah. So
modifying tires and fuel. Yeah. And violating testing.
That stuff was already there. It's mainly the new next-gen stuff and then the addition of the playoff bar.
Yeah.
Being barred from the playoffs. So we like it, though, right? I think if we want the teams to be equal,
I do like it.
We have to enforce the teams being equal.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's a double-edged sword because cheating and racing is cool, but if you get caught, you should be penalized for it. So
you're not cheating good enough. If NASCAR isn't changing the rules because of something you did the year previous, a la Stewart Haas Racing, you're not trying hard enough.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a difference between finding a little advantage that's kind of in the gray area and then just like blatantly having an illegal car.
And that's gonna be the problem with next gen. With going to all these common sourced parts, is you're now getting rid of a lot of that gray area. Because I don't, again, we know nothing about what the inspection process looks like compared to the old car, but if there are only 5-6 different ways to mount shocks on the car, and it's gonna be pretty obvious if you're mounting them wrong. If there's only 2 or 3 ways to hang the body on the chassis, you're gonna know that something's wrong. NASCAR really cracked down on filler on the front fascias, front bumpers of these cars. You're gonna know if something's wrong. So
yeah,
it's I don't know. I like it. Big boy penalties.
I also like it.
Don't cheat, or at least just don't get caught.
Really curious as to what some of these teams may have in mind as things that they can do, because it just seems really rigid.
Yeah, I have a feeling because I don't know how much they're still allowed to make themselves and what they're allowed, because there's still going to be components that they're going to be allowed to do. Just because it would be hard for a single supplier to do them, which is why we have the whole, teams only having 3 next-gen cars for a 2-car organization problem. Is stuff around driver comfort. That's the one, and I don't know how you manipulate that right at the moment to, give yourself an advantage. Whether, it be maybe you figure out a way to move the driver around the car to shift the weight or stuff like that. I don't know. Don't know what you could do. You make half the seat a little bit heavier than the other half of the seat. I don't know, but that's where if we're gonna see kind of penalties that are more along the norms of you failed tech, that are outside of just the way they set up these cars. Crab walking Petty GMS 43 at Daytona.
It's insane.
Oh yeah.
You gotta love it. You gotta love them just so blatantly going out there and being like, yeah, we know we can't do this, but we need data. I don't know. It's fun. It's fun.
Yeah. It's fun. I'm excited to see what teams come out. I can't wait to see a team get a big penalty. This is going to be the best.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we're definitely gonna see like how creative some of these teams can get.
Yeah, and it's gonna be the same kind of deal as before too, where like the more, the more money full teams are gonna be taking those risks, and it's all gonna shake out to where the rich teams are good again anyway. But I'm still excited to see it.
They'll be on the cutting edge of the development of this car, right? So
Yep.
Yes, indeed.
Speaking of those big teams, since we're really kind of starved for content, we're gonna start
We're
off
not
by.
starved for content.
I can talk about Supercross if you want.
Doing what we need to
Fill out
do.
the show.
I still think, even though we want to talk about it during Daytona qualifying, I still think we should do a driver grade episode because that did really well last time. So,
Well, we're gonna do it in the mid-season and at the end of the season, too. We're gonna start with teams right now, though.
okay.
So let's start.
You want to go back and make sure you have all the teams because you don't.
Who am I missing?
Roush, Fenway,
Hendrick.
Keselowski, Hendrick.
So if you look at the 2022 NASCAR grades spreadsheet, and you remember what I said last week about us wanting to do half this week and like the other half next week.
That's what I was gonna say. I thought that's what we were doing. Because
Yeah.
I was like, Joe wouldn't accidentally leave the team that just won the championship off. So
Yes, he would. Shut up.
It took me a long time to remember that Live Fast is a team, though.
yeah, you did forget Starcom also, like when we did our mid-season one.
I did.
Yeah.
So,
But, you know,
Yeah.
Quinn Houff, and
yeah.
is anyone really going to miss him in the Cup Series?
A little bit. I'm gonna miss having a NASCAR driver who has less wins in his racing career than I have BMX wins in the last 11 years. So, yeah.
Anyways,
yeah.
let's start
Winning.
with everyone's favorite well-organized team, Team Penske.
F.
These are preseason grades, by the way. So I don't know how you guys want to play this. If this is what you predict you to make their grade by the end of the year, how you predict their season's gonna go, something like that. So,
Should it be a predictor? I feel like we should all be on the same page.
well, I put us all. I feel like we can have different ones for here, because I want to be able to be like, "Oh, I told you so," but then also I can totally just say, "Oh yeah, I still think they're an A," which is the issue.
Yeah. I mean, it can
I'll
just be like a
average 'em out.
projection for
Yeah,
what you think the
I'll
season's
average
gonna
them
be.
out. I just want to hear what everyone says. Team Penske. Obviously,
I think-
Austin Cindric gets brought in. A new crew chief combo with Ryan Blaney too, and bunch of stuff. I'm sorry. I just go ahead.
I think because of Penske's experience with sports cars and Indy cars, that they're probably going to hit the ground running more than probably some other teams. I mean, you expect a lot of the top teams to really come out swinging, but like the only thing that kind of gives me reservations is, you know, Joey Logano is technically a veteran, but there is kind of a lack of a veteran leader at the team, it seems like. So.
Yeah, and it's not good that everyone, like when you said that, my name was like Ryan Blaney. Oh wait, he's still young.
Yeah.
And Joey Logano is still young, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it's the thing.
And like I like Ryan Blaney, but he doesn't strike me as the kind of guy who would be like, "All right, this is how we're gonna do things around here." You know,
Yeah,
he's kind of quiet
now,
and introverted.
Yeah, I think Austin Cindric is going to be really well suited for this car too, which is something that'll definitely help him in his rookie year, kind of maybe avoid that rookie thing we've been seeing in recent years where they don't perform all that well. But you hit the nail on the head. You lose Brad Keselowski as that veteran leader that really helped build that program to what it is, or at least start that building, and then, you know, bringing in Joey Logano and eventually going to the 3 cars in 18 with Blaney and stuff. But big thing for Team Penske, like you said, knowledge. They got a lot of it with this type of vehicle. What's your grade?
That's tough because I mean they haven't turned a lap in anger yet, so
They were fast in Daytona.
Yeah, I mean I'm expecting. I don't know if I would go to lower grade, but I'm expecting more of the same that they ran last year. Although they did kind of struggle last year, but I imagine at least on par from where they ran last year.
I'm gonna put B plus.
I was gonna say probably like low A, B plus. Yeah.
Okay. Davey.
I'm going A. I think they hit the ground running, and I think they win a few races next season early. Like I think they win some of the early races.
Yeah, I'm gonna give them a B plus too. I like you said, kind of the same that's kind of been their trend too, is to win races early in the year and then they kind of pewter out once everyone catches up. Average B plus. B plus is a good average. Good average. A team that also has a rookie that no one is talking about in the Cup Series this year, with Todd Gilliland taking over the 38, so the third rookie driver in the second front row car for the third year in a row. Of course, Michael McDowell returns after a lot of speculation that the team would shut down in the offseason and their charters would get cannibalized by the likes of 2311 and Trackhouse and Colleague and all those. Obviously, McDowell returns. This team had a really good year last year. I don't see that continuing. For that reason, I'm going to give them a C.
I can see McDowell running well on road courses again, especially because this seems to be like a road course specific car. It's weird because the next gen's supposed to bring everybody together. Oops. And you had McDowell who kind of punched above his weight for a lot of last year. But Todd Gilliland is a complete unknown. I have no idea what to expect.
I'm gonna personally, while Matthew thinks about it, I'm gonna go. Excuse me, I'm gonna go D plus. I don't have a lot of confidence in Michael McDowell.
Yeah, I'd go somewhere in the C range, probably like a C minus. So, I mean, in the end, they're still a small team without a lot of resources. So, and like, I think Michael McDowell it's all right, but doesn't really strike confidence in you as like, this is the leader of our team.
I'm not scared.
Yeah.
When I look at that team and I have to race them head to head, I'm not scared.
Yeah. I think we can see McDowell kind of do similar things to what he did last year, but I wouldn't expect like this massive leap forward.
Right. I wouldn't even expect the results to be like last year. You lose Drew Blickensturfer from that team too, because Drew likes to hop around places. I mean, that's just another thing to consider. Of course, they have their technical alliance with Roush, Fenway Keselowski Racing. And obviously we all know that team has openly stated they're rebuilding. So what happens when you're the satellite team for the rebuilding team?
Yeah.
Don't get a lot of attention.
No, not at all. A team that seems like they're pretty close to finishing their rebuild is Richard Childress Racing. Austin Dillon and Tyler Reddick, of course, return after fantastic years last year. Reddick made the playoffs. Dillon didn't win, neither did Reddick, but both had impressive performances and were battling for that last playoff spot at the deadline. Albeit for an Eric Almirola win, they both would have made the playoffs. Yeah. RCR has been one of the big teams helping develop this car. Don't know how much of an advantage it gives them.
Yeah.
No, I don't want to do that.
Because I feel like the car has like been. I feel like the car is probably like, it's obvious like they helped in development, but that car has changed a lot. At the end of the day, I don't think they got as much of an advantage from it as maybe some people would think they would. However, I do expect them to still be quicker than they were last year, and I think Tyler Reddick is upping his game every single year. I'll give them I'll give them a B. I'll go B for them.
Yeah, I'll say like a B plus. I would not be surprised if both drivers managed to win a race this year.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I think so too.
Yeah. We've been waiting for Dillon to have that breakout season, and I think I'm a more of a Austin Dillon supporter than anybody else on this show, but I've always felt like he gets a little too much crap. And the last couple of years, I feel like we've seen a good Austin Dillon in a RCR team that's been ascending. So maybe we'll finally get to see that, great season out of RCR and him. So
that's the hope. I mean, I'm gonna go with a B.
Yeah.
They're still not gonna break into that tier of the Hendrick, Gibbs, Penske. But I think they'll be right there. Them and Stuart Haas will be like right there on the cusp of it this year. So
I have similar expectations for like them and RFK. Like, you guys should probably win a race and make the playoffs. So
yeah,
we'll see.
I actually don't totally disagree with that, which obviously we'll get to that in a later
Yeah.
episode. But yeah, I think they win races. They'll win races.
They have to.
Yeah, they do. They do.
Next one is one of those upper echelon teams, Joe Gibbs Racing. A lot of uncertainty around Kyle Busch, of course, coming into this year, not with Mars leaving the sport, which we didn't talk about, but I don't think we need to talk about it because everyone knows that's a pretty big freaking deal.
Yeah.
Ty Gibbs is sitting there in the wings, waiting in the wings, and he's probably cup ready more cup ready than any guy his age has been at this point in their career before him. So there's that. But Joe Gibbs Racing outlook for the year, 2311 is going to improve, right? So that's going to give him more information, more data with Kurt Busch. What are we thinking?
I'm gonna have to go B-. I'm just kidding. A plus.
Yeah.
That team will hit the ground running. They have the resources. The drivers there are all pretty dang good. I don't think they have too many issues.
Are we agreeing on A plus or on A?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go A.
We don't give out pluses until you actually perform.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I don't give out hundreds in my class.
God.
There's no such thing as a perfect paper, Joe.
Triggered me.
You gotta hope that Christopher Bell, Adam Stevens, that relationship improves. They get a bunch of victories. We already know Hamlin and Gabe Hart, Small and Truex. Those pairings are solid. Of course, Ben Bayshore and Kyle Busch still seems like it's something that's working. They're working on it, and they were getting better as the year went on, but still struggled. This car is going to be a real test for Kyle Busch because it's going to be that test. We always talk about, Kyle Larson can go out and win in anything. Tony Stewart could go out and win in anything. This is going to be the real test for Kyle Busch with this car. I think he'll do fine because he's Kyle Busch. Colleague Racing, going from 1K to another. Makes the jump to the Cup Series with 2 full-time Cup Series chartered vehicles. The 16 is kind of their amalgamation car. AJ Allmendinger are going to run the majority of the races. I think he runs like 2 more than Gregson. Gregson is going to run a bunch of races, and then Hemrick's going to run the other 8.
Ooh.
I think. Hemrick gets all the super speedways too. So. And then, of course, you got Justin Haley, who is the ultimate. How is he here?
Greatest super speedway racer of all time.
Call my mom back later. Sorry about that.
Oh no, you gotta answer the call.
You gotta answer the call. Come on, buddy.
Well, I already silenced it, so.
Oh my god.
You better text her right now.
I'll call her back.
No, text her right now.
Text mommy.
We're trying to do a show, Joe. Anyway, I think Justin Haley will be okay. So, I feel like AJ is going to run really well, and then everybody's going to be like, "Hey, why isn't he running the full-time Cup car?" Because that's what I've been saying for the last year since they were like, "Yeah, we're going Cup racing," and I was like, "Why is AJ not the driver?"
This is crazy. This is the first hard team to grade, honestly. Like, this one's actually hard. Like, I don't know where to judge it. They're obviously fast at the road courses, but AJ was in the car.
And he will be in that car, and Justin Haley is a pretty good road course racer too. With that,
no,
because he definitely got that AJ Allmendinger rub.
No. I know, but and I know next gen's gonna be different. But what I have to base off of is the Colleague car didn't seem like it was anything special.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't seem like it was anything that was overtly good or bad. It just kind of seemed like a decent race car. And again, next gen's gonna be different. I know, but we're all kind of basing this off of last year's performance, whether we like it or not. And the Colleague car, I don't know really how great that car was.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll be good at the road courses because it'll level the car. They'll probably be good at the short tracks, and they'll be good at the super speedways. But the intermediates are still a chunk of the schedule, and I have no idea how they're going to do.
And it looks like I think Noah Gregson's going to be in for a lot of the intermediates.
Yeah.
Woo.
Which, neither here nor there, but this one is the first hard one to grade, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Winning that race at Indy last year is a blessing and a curse because it really wasn't a race that they were in position to win until the shenanigans at the end with Briscoe and Hamlin, right?
Yeah.
Again, it's that, like what you said, really solid, decent race car, good race car driver. That's usually a pretty good combo to get some good finishes, and when you run good, you'll get those wins here and there, and they deserved it. How has that raised the expectations for this team? I think still is to be seen.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to be right there in lockstep with RCR, though, I think, in performance, just because that relationship is so strong. With that being said, I still see them probably as a letter grade below RCR, so I'd give them a B-.
Yeah, I'm expecting something along the lines of Trackhouse from last year. So
I think if you factor in the fact that it's a new team, I think B- is something I can agree on too. I was gonna go C+, but like there's still a new team, so
yeah, I'd go with the same thing.
Okay. A team that's been around for a while has been saying that this is what they've been waiting for to finally push the button to compete. We've all heard that from our favorite sports franchises in the past now, haven't we?
Mm-hmm.
Spire Motorsports. Corey LaJoie has been the most vocal advocate for this car leveling the playing field. I don't know if I see it.
Yeah,
I mean,
go ahead.
go ahead. No, you.
Oh, okay.
You first.
No, I insist. Yeah, like giving everybody a similar baseline is all good and well, but it all comes down to resources. And like, I know Spire has a decent amount of money, but it's still a matter of putting everything in place and getting it all together. You know, it's still a matter of what guys do you have back at the shop and on top of the box. You know, so.
I'm sorry, I forgot
there we
Davey
go.
was chewing. I'm sorry.
No. I was chewing, but I'm still thinking. Like I don't.
Yeah. I think this is a team that's hard to handicap with having a different driver in that second car. Justin Haley was in that 77 for the majority of last year. Obviously, he's not going to be in it. Which, by the way, guys, Justin Haley is not a rookie this year because he has too much Cup experience and is a Cup winner.
And he won that race before he ran like 26 races last season.
Justin Haley is going to secretly and quietly become a solid Cup driver under everyone's noses, and no one's going to realize it.
Yeah.
I'm going to call it right here, right now.
But back to Spire, who manages Justin Haley. It's a weird team because Josh Bilicki's going to be in that 77 for majority of the races. I believe Ryan Sparks and Corey LaJoie are still going to be together with the 7 car. There's a lot of Hendrick support there too that I don't think a lot of people talk about. I don't know. It's tough.
Yeah.
It's a weird thing to have to predict.
I
It's
think
still
that...
Spire though, so C.
Yeah.
That's very generous, actually, in my opinion. But I think Corey is a solid driver. I think he had some decent runs last season, and you know, for a team and a driver that's been hyping up the next gen car and has been as excited for it as they are, you know, it fills me with a little bit of confidence. But it, knowing the facts and knowing how this sport works, that's not exactly how it's always going to work out.
Yeah.
But where there's, at the same time, when there's smoke, there's fire, and if they're excited for it, they have to be excited about it for a reason.
If these first 2 months go awful, that is going to be your, okay, they were just optimistic, right? I think that's where so.
Yeah.
But go on, give me a letter.
I'm going to go C- for that team with hopes of them doing better because I think it'd be a cool story.
Yeah, I was kind of leaning towards the same thing. Like, I think we could see runs like Corey had at the second Darlington race a couple more times throughout the season. I think you'll see him have those weird kind of early 2021 Trackhouse style runs where Suarez was just running up in like 8th all day. I think you can see Corey do that on occasion. I don't think they're going to be a top 15 team each week, though. I think they'll run okay. So
yeah, I agree.
C- it is. Finally, the biggest disappointment of the 2021 season, Stewart-Haas Racing. bunch of moves this offseason with that team. Drew Blickensterfer are going to be the new crew chief on the 10. Ryan Preece brought in as a development test/reserve driver. Obviously, the formation of the alliance with Rick Ware Racing, which we'll talk about next week.
An elusive partnership with Rick Ware Racing.
Let me tell you.
Oh,
I wonder who's going to benefit more from that.
yeah.
Chase Briscoe's in his second year. Cole Custer's going to be in his third year. You hope to see both of those guys improve, especially with how much Ford has put into them as race car drivers. Eric Almirola going to retire at the end of the year. What does that hold for the future of the 10 car? Davey thinks he knows. I don't think we really know.
Ryan Preece is the future of the 10 car.
And obviously, Kevin Harvick's career is still on a year-to-year. Will he
Ryan
return?
Preece is going to be in 2 cars for the full season. They're both going to retire. Ryan Preece is going to subconsciously drive the 4 car as well.
Yeah, he's going to astral project into the 4 car.
Correct.
Yeah.
Nothing but the facts here on JTN.
The outlook for Stewart-Haas Racing. Yeah, this is JTN 2, isn't it?
Can we talk about how low-key, like, kind of underwhelming their driver lineup is? Like, Briscoe's promising, but then it's like Cole Custer do literally anything, and Eric Almirola with a whopping 3 Cup wins in his career.
As a guy that likes Cole Custer, I really am disappointed.
Yeah,
because he really showed a lot of improvement when he was in Xfinity, and he did a really good job, and I was excited for him in that Cup ride. But he's done nothing. He's done nothing. He's done more than nothing. He won that race. I was excited for him, and it was a great finish, and it was a great drive by him at the end. But come on, dude.
The thing. This isn't I'm not taking a shot at Briscoe because you're a fan. Like, I like Chase Briscoe. I think he's a great dude, and I want him to succeed. But when we project how well is Stewart-Haas's other 3 drivers going to do, and it's like, okay, if we want them to run top 10, there's 4 Gibbs cars, there's 4 Hendrick cars, there's 3 Penske cars, there's 2 RCR cars, there's 2311, there's all these other top teams. Who are they going to run ahead of every week to be in the top 10? So it's it's frustrating. And this applies to so many of the teams, but that's why I'm saying things like Corey LaJoie can occasionally run in the top 10, or same thing with Colleague, but it's Kevin Harvick has set the bar so high that it's how is his other 3 teammates going to match that and it's and last year was an off year and Harvick still ran really well, yeah.
And you say that, and you look at just driver lineup alone, and they don't none of those guys minus Kevin Harvick have the gravy to get up past those top teams.
Yeah.
I also raised you the idea. Look at the turnover in the crew chief department on that team. Eric Almirola with his 3rd different crew chief in 4 or 5 years now. Obviously, Chase Briscoe had a new crew chief last year. Cole Custer got to bring up his Xfinity Series crew chief with him, and they've had mild success. The one constant has been Rodney Childers with the 4 car. You also have to look to that. There's a lot of smart people there. They have the funding, they have the support, they have the backing. They just have to execute. And I think last year really threw him for a loop. Last year will be the outlier, not the norm, I think, for Stewart-Haas Racing. Because don't forget, the year before, Clint Boyer ran really well. Eric Almirola ran really well, and Kurt Busch ran well the year before that in the 41 car. So, or 2 years before that in the 41 car. So,
I've already forgotten about Suarez's year in the 41.
Dude.
So forgettable.
Daniel Suarez.
Hopefully so did Daniel.
I hope so too. I mean, hopefully he forgot about the year in the 96 car too. For his sake. As a Gaunt Brothers racing fan, Davey has not forgotten though.
I have not forgotten.
But if I had to give this team a grade, I can't put them on that same tier as the Penske's, the Gibbs, and the Hendricks. So I'd have to put them at a B-, because this is a rebuild. A retool, whatever you want to call it.
I'll be on the other side of that coin, Joe. I think that Stewart-Haas Racing is a team that has shown that when they have everything in position, They can be an extremely competitive team. I think they're making a lot of moves over the offseason that showing a lot of hunger. I think
Dodge.
What?
Nothing. What?
Dodge?
I didn't say anything.
I mean, yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
But I think that hunger is I think that hunger is sort of like endemic to success, and I think they're going to improve on their last season. And I'm gonna put them at a B plus with Team Penske.
It's funny you guys did that because I was leaning towards a B, so we all average out at a B.
Wonderful.
It's like the complicated thing about this is like you already have a team that struggled last year, and then it's like, hey, Briscoe and Cole Custer, forget everything that you just learned through these incredibly important years in your career and start over from scratch with the next gen. And then it's like, oh yeah, by the way, Cole, it's year 3. When you look at Chase Elliott and William Byron and Kyle Larson in year 3 and Eric Jones in year 3 and Ryan Blaney in year 3, all these young guys who came up hot shots from Xfinity, year 3 is kind of all when they started to hit their stride. And it's like, you have those expectations on you now, Cole. Can't run 24th every week.
And even when they hit their stride, they were on the hot seat the year after.
Yeah. So
Um,
pressure's on.
Cole Custer has the benefit of relationships, obviously, with his dad being the team manager. Which again, you can say that he gotten the experience he's gotten because of that, probably, but he's still deserving of being a Cup Series driver with the success he had in the Xfinity Series.
I mean, it's the same thing as Austin Cindric. So like,
It's yeah.
You can have parents in all the right places, but you still have to perform. There's a reason why Stephen Wallace never made it to Cup full time.
Exactly.
With all the connections.
And
my Twitter bio says Stephen Wallace apologist in it. So
there's a reason Austin Dillon got to drive for RCR and Ty didn't.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yes,
And I mean,
pretty
I don't
spicy.
want to. I feel like I'm being kind of harsh on Cole Custer. I like Cole Custer. I think he's a talented driver. He's from California too, so I'm like already kind of inclined to like him. But you know,
you gotta see more out of him. I mean, you gotta see more out of Chase Briscoe. You gotta see.
Yeah.
You're hoping to see more out of Ross Chastain. Is a guy that I don't think people will talk about enough coming into the year. You got to see more out of him. You got to see more out of an Eric Jones. You got to see more out of a Ty Dillon. Tyler Reddick, you could probably see some more out of. I mean, a lot of these guys that have they're in these mid to low tier team cars. You got to see them continue to improve in those cars, improve those teams, and that's what you got to see. And at the end of the day, we don't know anything, and we're just grading these teams for no good reason. Of course, folks, if you love the Fake Racers podcast, you're going to want to hit that subscribe button.
I don't.
Down below the video.
Well,
you would be in the vocal majority, or the quiet majority that don't. Make sure you hit that subscribe button down here on JTN2. We've moved over here to kind of provide the boys with a good platform to post whatever content they feel like they want to post. Remember, you can use code JTN at CircleBDiecast.com to receive free shipping on your order of $20 or more. Davey, do you have an update on your Ryan Preece car? While we're on stream.
The Ryan Preece car that you got me for my birthday.
Yeah.
Or Christmas. I'm Jesus now. It's my birthday. Christmas. I sent back the Daniel Suarez diecast that I legally don't have to send back, and that no one's gonna buy, and it's gonna sit in their warehouse for 1,000,000 years. And then I don't know. I'm waiting now, I guess.
Okay.
Send it back though.
When?
Before
Friday. I was able to get to the post office.
Okay.
Before we get into outros, can I give a quick shout out to something that I saw at Supercross? No. Okay, so
yeah, you can.
Last weekend, me and my roommate and one of our other friends went to Oakland to see Supercross. By the way, the BART only costs $3 for a round trip, so that was pretty cool. Rode the train straight to the stadium. But anyway, I think I told Davey about this, but in Supercross, the way the classes work, you have the 450 class and the 250, and it's 4-stroke 450s and two-stroke 250s for the top class, 4-stroke 250s, 2-stroke 125s for the bottom class. Nobody really rides 2-strokes anymore because they're not really competitive, because 4-strokes are just better at this point. In the 250 class, there was this guy named Jared Stanky, from Woodland, California, local guy, riding number 762 on a 2-stroke 125 in a gray t-shirt or gray long sleeve shirt with ironed on numbers on it. And he made the main event. He finished 9th out of 20 riders in his heat and made the main event and didn't finish last. So go give Jared Stanky a follow on Instagram. He's at StankDog69. Huge fan. I'm not making that up. That is his name. Dude rips on a 2-stroke, and somebody needs to buy him a 4-stroke 250 because he would win races. So I got to see that happen in person, and it was awesome.
Was that the event in Anaheim or
Oakland?
Oakland. Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
You said Oakland. I'm sorry.
Pay attention, Joe.
Ears.
Pay attention.
Super
Ears.
good races too. So like all 3 guys on the podium in 450s were guys that none of us would have predicted. So that was cool.
And remember, folks, you can watch that on Peacock.
You can.
So get yourself some
Pretty cool.
Peacock. $5
Pretty
a
cool.
month. Or free if you have Xfinity Internet.
Yeah. Do it. You won't.
You won't probably, but you should. Because there's a lot of stuff on there that's pretty good. I don't usually advocate for streaming services. But boy howdy, do I love Peacock. With all that being said, though, this is your favorite streaming service, of course, youtube.com, and you head on over to JTN2, you head on over to Johto Network. We can't thank you enough for all of your support. Again, make sure if you like hearing this, you hit the subscribe button, you follow our podcast if you're listening to the audio version. We love seeing those shares. I'm going to pressure these guys into actually posting stuff to Reddit. Apparently, that's the key to success, maybe. I don't know. But we can't thank you enough for that support that you've given us. Of course, this move over is kind of, again, to make sure these guys can post stuff that they actually want to, and I don't have to have my fingerprints on everything, even though my name's on it. So, haha, look at me. I'm a businessman. Where can they find out more from you guys?
They can find out more from me on Twitter at Davey Hazard, on Instagram at D7H5, and on Twitch at D7H5er. That's an ER at the end of that. You can take a look at the 25-hour stream that I did in VOD form on Twitch. There's some good moments in there. Maybe pick out a couple times and fast forward to it, see if you can find some of the little nuggets of gold that are left in there. I think that's it for me, Matthew.
You can find me on Twitter at msteelman51. Also, sometime this week we'll have episode 2 of Disqualified out. It's going to be on Eurobrun. What happens when a driver in his mid-30s desperately wants to make it to F1, so he brings together a sports car team and a junior formula team that had never built their own chassis before? It's a good time. Let's find out. It's on Eurobrun. Hopefully that drops sometime this week. So that is Disqualified on JTN2.
With all that being said, though, folks, the best way to stay up to date with JTN is to make sure you're subscribed to our main YouTube as well as here on JTN2. Following us on Twitter at Johto Network. Keep up to date with Fake Racers Podcast at Fake Racers. I don't know how you guys got that handled, but you did. I'm so proud of you. To keep up with the Fake Racers Podcast, you can follow me if you can find me. You can follow me. As well as making sure you follow us on Facebook again, Johto Network.
Some catch me if you can style stuff right now.
And then as well on TikTok at Johto Network, where I'll post stuff periodically just for funsies. Yeah. Bristol, our producer, he had a great day. It snowed here in Michigan, so he's tired.
Good.
So that means it's time to wrap up the show, folks. Can't thank you enough for watching, as always. Again, be a friend, tell a friend about our show, about our content. Our next live broadcast is Saturday night on Johto Network at 10:45 p.m. Eastern Time with the AlphaTauri Cup Series, where you'll see these two knuckleheads race. You can get their t-shirts on the JTN merch store. I don't think I forgot anything. So with all that being said, guys, can't thank you enough for watching, and we'll see you guys next time right here on the Fake Racers Podcast.
Goodbye.